So lesson 22 is on scale drawings, and we're going to start off here with 3 vocab words. Scale drawing is a drawing that shows an object with its measurements in proportion to the actual measurements of the object. So a scale drawing can either be smaller than the actual object or larger than the actual object, but it's in proportion. So it might be 3 times the size or 5 times the size, or it might be one half of the size, or it might be a quarter of the size, making it smaller. So it can be in either direction, but it is always in proportion. The scale is the ratio that actually compares the measurements used in a scale drawing with the actual measurements. So for instance, we might have 1 inch equals maybe 300 miles on a map, or something along those lines. So that is our scale. So it's always our model over our actual. Our model is always the first one. And then our scale factor is a constant of proportionality. So what are we multiplying by? So in this case, in my example here, 1 inch equals 300 miles. 1 is always 300 miles. So our constant of proportionality, our scale factor is 300. It's 300 times the size. So if I had 3 inches, I would times it by 300 to figure out how many miles it actually was. So for example 1, it says, what is the scale factor of a drawing that shows a length of 2 inches when the actual length is 36 inches? So the drawing is 2 inches, and I'm going to make it into a fraction, and the actual is 36 inches. So remember, I said model over actual, so that's how you know how to set it up. If I reduce this fraction, 2 and 36 are both even, so I'm going to cut them in half, so I would have 1 and 18. So 1 inch equals 18 inches is my ratio. So that means every inch is 18. Every inch is equal to 18 of the actual. So we're multiplying by 18 inches here, or our scale factor of 18. All right, in example 2, it says a scale drawing of a soccer field has the dimensions of 5 centimeters and 8 centimeters. So a smaller version of the soccer field is 5 by 8. A length of 1 centimeter in the drawing corresponds to 15 yards in the actual soccer field. So 1 centimeter is equal to 15 yards on the actual field. Find the dimensions of the area of the actual field. So these in my drawing, they're actually centimeters. So if I set up a proportion, I have 5 centimeters. I went from 1 to 5. So that's timesing by 5. So if I do 15 times 5, that's 75. So it would be 75 yards. And then my other dimension is 8. So I would have 8 centimeters. So I went from 1 to 8, so that's times 8. So then I have to do 15 times 8 would be 80 and 40, so that's 120. So this would be 120 yards. So our actual is 75 by 120 yards.